You ready for this?
Ready.
So, today we take you to Germany. Germany, in history, we know is a pretty messed up place. I mean, we had,
Historically, yes.
historically speaking, we've had some messed up stuff come out of there. So today I'm going to talk about the Ruhr hunter, the Ruhr cannibal, or also known as the Duisburg man-eater. Pronunciation on all of these words, since I'm not German, is going to be interesting, so I apologize ahead of time. I'm going to do my best.
What she means is it's going to be amazing. Amazingly funny.
Amazing. We're going to have a lot of content for humor here.
It'll be good.
So this dude, he was a little frail man, and he, from everything I've read and heard about him, was a little bit on the uncontrollable sexual appetite, unhealthy way of living. He did not have healthy thoughts of sex.
I mean, anybody who decides to eat human flesh might have some issues.
Yes. So it seemed that all of his mental health issues flooded into his killings. He didn't know how to handle the fact that he wanted to have sex, but was too shy to even talk to females. So we're going to get started down the dark trail of murder, completed by a man named Juan. Kroll.
Walk and crawl. That's what I heard.
So also, you might not want to listen while eating, unless that's your thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of gross parts to this.
Oh, yeah. Let's do the trigger warnings. Trigger warnings.
Trigger warnings. If you get offended easily by language or content.
Or cannibalism or whatever else this guy might. Yeah. If you are a sensitive one.
It might be difficult to hear and listen to, but I'm going to shoot it straight at you.
So, be warned. You've been warned.
You've been warned.
Yeah.
Joachim George Kroll, or, it looks like Joaquin.
I mean, it still is like walk and run.
Walk and crawl.
Walk and crawl? Not walk and run. Walk and crawl.
He was born in Hindenburg, Germany, on April 17th in the year 1933, which was very close to when my grandfather was born. So if he had been still living today, he would have been 92.
Yikes. So, like, this guy you could have known.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He could be your grandfather.
You could be related to him. Oh, yikes.
Okay. Yikes.
Anyways, during World War II in 1947, Kroll, who would have been about 14 years old, left the western part of Germany where he was from and moved to fled to the western part of Germany.
Ooh.
From the eastern part. Hindenburg was a tough place to live for him and his family. So as they were moving that way, when they fled, his father was taken as a POW, which is a prisoner of war. Kroll never did see his father again.
Oh.
So he was taken away and never came back to the family. Not much is known about his father. Not much is known about his...
Oh, you're good. Carry on.
Not much is known about his family at all. So we're going to fast forward to 1955. And in that year is when his mother died. Don't know what she died of. She just died.
He just didn't have a chance at childhood.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like he had a very good childhood. He was the youngest of his family.
Okay. So he already...
And not much is known about his siblings.
He already had that weird, like, youngest of who knows how many kids.
And he was frail. I don't
yeah.
have that information.
So being the youngest child, and probably a lot of kids, because back then people did have a lot of children. You don't get much attention to begin with. Mm-hmm. And then losing not one, but both parents, like, that's going to have some damage.
Yeah. So at the age of 22, Kroll lived and had a little apartment in Duisburg, Germany, which is the middle of the western part of the country. This is the area in my map.
Perfect. Perfect. We even got map pins, you guys. Map pins.
Map pins.
They're so cute. Sorry. Carry on.
So as I said earlier, he had trouble with relationships with females, and there were reports that said his apartment was filled with gadgets and contraptions to help him masturbate, and he used inflatable dolls for strangling while masturbating.
Oh my.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So this was very premeditated. All of this.
The whole behavior started in his little apartment by himself.
It's cool if you have dolls and stuff, like, you do you, but, like, if you're strangling your dolls.
Yeah, reports state that he would use one hand to strangle the doll and the other to masturbate.
Mm-hmm. You need to look into some therapy, buddy.
I don't think mental health was very good. I
don't think it would have helped him either.
No. And we're not defending his actions at all.
No, not at all.
That the poor guy never had a chance at life, really. He was described as too shy or nervous to even have relationships or sex with women that might have been willing participants. So he decided to start raping and killing, and most of them were teenage girls.
Ooh.
We'll get right into his victims. His first known victim was 19-year-old Irmgard Struhl. I know I'm butchering these names. I apologize.
It sounded good to me, so.
Kroll raped and murdered her by stabbing her to death, and it disemboweled her, which means her insides were outside.
Her insides went outside. Oh my gosh.
And this was in a barn near a village called Wallstead. Happened on February 8th, 1955. It's unknown if his mother's death was the trigger, but it's a little suspicious since this first victim was killed 3 weeks after her death.
I would definitely say that was probably his trigger.
Yeah, it is. Sad for these victims.
Oh,
I mean, they didn't even have really any chance at life. So young.
So young. Okay, carry on. Sorry.
Like I said, these are going to be difficult to hear. Kroll's next rape and murder occurred in 1956. So he waited a little bit of time.
Yeah.
He raped and strangled 12-year-old Erika Schulater. Not much information is known on that, but the rape and strangle. And a lot of times he goes, from what I read, he goes back and forth from either raping them first or killing them first. So some of this was necrophilia, some of it was rape then death.
She was really young.
Oh yeah, 12. His third rape and murder occurred 3 years later, but only a few miles away in the woods near Reibenhausen in the meadows of the Rhine, which the Rhine is one of the largest rivers in Germany.
Right. That's a big gap in time.
Yeah, 3 years.
It makes you kind of wonder, like, what was he doing? Where was he located? Did he move? Did he?
No, he stayed right there in Duisburg.
Hmm.
He was working, and I think maybe he just, at first, those couple, like,
Okay.
gave him what he needed for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, so the victim was, she's actually a little older. She was 24 years old, named Clara Tesmer. But this is kind of messed up, but a man named Heinrich Ott was actually arrested for the crime.
Oh.
And he was so distraught over the fact that he was being arrested for this that he hung himself in his jail cell.
Oh my gosh. See? Yeah.
So he didn't commit the murder. He was accused of the murder.
But like
killed himself before he could even be acquitted or charges dropped. Yeah.
I mean, it's bad enough when like young girls or anybody is being murdered, really. It's a whole nother thing when like another person takes their own life for something they didn't even do. Like,
yeah, they were just so distraught over the fact that they were being accused of this crime.
Yeah, that's awful.
Moving forward, and he also, sadly, is not the only one that was accused of Kroll's murder.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. Kroll's next rape and murder occurred in 1959. So
Dang.
another 3.
Another big gap. Yeah.
Well, no, it's kind of fuzzy, but this one happened shortly after his third one.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Got
it. But his 4th murder, he decided, on a whim, mind you, to try cannibalism.
Who does that?
He just said,
I'm just going to murder this person. And, well, you know what? I wonder what that tastes like.
Yeah.
Long pork. I mean, am I right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Ugh. So he raped and strangled Manuela Knott, who was only 16 years old. When her body was found in the city park of Essen, which Essen is right here in our little map, slices of her flesh were carved from her buttocks and thighs.
It's a little,
He just decided to have a little slice.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to take any part,
those are the parts.
Those are the parts you would take. Well, the buttocks. I'm saying. Of any animal. Okay. Not to say she's an animal, but like,
yeah. No.
You know, if you're going to eat a part, you would take it from the butt because there's a lot of fat in there and a lot of muscle. And it's got more flavor.
Right.
That's disgusting. I know.
So,
but like, I know these
wrong.
things. Because I don't remember who it was, but there was a cannibal who did say that their favorite part was the butt.
Yeah.
Because of that flavor.
I'm sure we'll cover that at a later time.
Probably.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
He also stated that after his whim of trying cannibalism and eating a human person, that he would hunt and stalk the tender victims.
The people that didn't exercise?
We're unsure as to what tender means, but
I would say probably
he kept
people
going
that
for
like
young
meat.
people.
I mean, I guess.
So not as tough.
That would make sense because
not as worked.
Older creatures are tougher meat. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was at this time that the police were looking for a serial killer. Okay. And they dubbed him the Ruhr Hunter.
Okay.
Yeah. So, moving on. Come back to that. In April 1962, on the 23rd, which was their Easter, Kroll killed Petra Geis in a forest north of Duisburg. So,
Okay.
north of here. Duisburg is right here in our black pin, and then up north of that. He really liked to take them into forests or meadows, or I guess somewhere that was concealed by trees.
I mean, that's smart.
Yeah. He, let's see. So, killed that one in the forest. Her body was found the next day in the bushes with her red dress ripped from her body. He had strangled her with a scarf and then raped her. Kroll cut off her butt cheeks, left forearm, and left hand.
Is he making bone broth? I mean,
We will find that part out later.
jeez. Okay.
Yes.
Now I'm intrigued. Not that I wasn't before, but like,
Yeah,
he took a hand.
I know.
Okay.
So this moving forward, they actually thought it was someone else who killed her. So another person. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to lie, the police thought it was a 52-year-old local sex offender and pedophile. So
I mean,
if it was somebody
Who
to
cares about that guy anyway?
accuse of this rape and murder, then I guess that's fine. His name was Vincenz Kuhn. I'm terrible with these names. He was arrested and actually convicted of the crime.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
But also,
I mean, he was already a known sex offender.
like I said before,
So.
who really cares about that guy?
But I guess he was just really sad because, he just was into little kids, but he didn't murder anyone.
He
that's
wasn't a
taking
murderer.
little far.
Okay.
Yeah. He was sentenced to 12 years in prison along with psychiatric treatment, but was released after only serving 6 years. Albeit he didn't commit the crime, but still the crime was sentenced. He was sentenced for a brutal act of depravity.
Right.
So it was a little,
Yeah.
a little weird. Gross.
6 years only, like that.
Yeah, he only got 6 years for, and I mean, cut off part, supposedly cut off parts of this little girl's body.
Sick bastard.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
Ugh.
But okay.
Ugh. Monica Taffle was a 13-year-old who was killed June 4th, 1962. So just a couple months later after Petra was killed.
So he's really like...
He started to escalate more in this year. He was,
right.
Yeah. Her body was found June 11th, but she was killed June 4th.
It's my brother's birthday.
As she says creepily.
Gemini.
But her body was found by police helicopter.
Wow.
Yeah. 1962, police helicopter found her in a forest outside a town called Walsum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know exactly where that's at. Just kidding. I don't.
But due to witness testimony, police arrested a 34-year-old pedophile named Walter Quicker.
There's a lot of pedophiles. Walter Quicker?
Yeah.
What a name.
I know, right? Quicker, Walter, quicker.
Yeah.
Police did let him go, though, due to lack of evidence. But because his wife divorced him and he was given shit by the town, he ended up on October 5th, months later, walking into a forest, hanging himself by a tree, never to be seen again alive.
Well, I mean, sounds like a walking country song to me. Yeah.
But instead of Walter being the murderer, can you guess who killed this Monica Taffle?
Walk and Crawl.
Walk and Kroll.
It's his name.
Yep, you guessed it, Kroll. Which he stated that he dragged her into a field, masturbated over her body, and cut chunks from her butt cheeks and the backs of her thighs. He really liked them buttocks.
Sir. Blech. That's.
Yeah.
I know people who say they would try long pork, which, if you don't know, that's human. Because apparently we taste the closest to pork. But like, why? Like, no.
I understand other mammals do it,
If I needed to,
but we have brains.
if it was
We need
life
to
and
not.
death, if we were stuck on a mountain,
Sure, K-12.
absolutely
You get stuck out there with a couple
would
people,
do that.
someone dies,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I mean, you might need to for survival.
But
we're not.
if it's not
we're
for
not needing to
survival, no, thank you.
survive. We're good.
No, thank you.
We got other ways to live out our survival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, after that whole debacle, on August 22nd, 1965, Kroll made his way up to a lover's lane near a lake in Duisburg, where he was still living.
Sounds nice.
He witnessed a woman having sex with a man in their car.
Alrighty then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So, any normal person sees that. Some people call it into the cops.
I would just
some people
be
just
like,
walk away.
good on ya, and then leave.
Well, Kroll decided to take a knife and stab one of the tires.
Oh, that's nice of
Mm-hmm.
him.
Gave him a flat. This flat turned into 25-year-old man named Herman Schmitz getting out of his car, who was having the sex with the lady, to see what had happened, and Kroll stabbed him in the chest twice.
All right.
Mm-hmm. He died immediately.
Ooh, good aim.
So the woman in the car jumped in the driver's seat, honking on the horn, freaking out, probably pantsless.
Where are those keys at, girl?
And she got in the driver's seat and tried to drive into Kroll, but he took his leave and he disappeared.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, so she didn't get killed.
She did not get killed, but she witnessed her boyfriend.
Yeah, but like she
get
could have possibly
murdered.
saved her life by honking the horn and drawing attention.
Correct.
Cool.
Nah. Yeah. And eyewitness testimony says that they didn't see where the man went. They didn't know who he was. And interesting enough, Schmitz, Mr. Herman Schmitz, was Kroll's only male victim.
Oh, wow.
And it was so different. Like this murder, like I don't know if he just was like, oh, this man is having nice sex with his girlfriend. Let me go kill him.
Well, it
Because
sounds,
he couldn't have
right.
it himself.
It sounds to me
so.
like it was like an opportunistic situation where he just happened to come upon these people. I mean, literally, like he went up there and just got lucky, but also not because he didn't get to eat his victim. Gross.
Blech.
Exactly.
Yeah. So then we move to September 13th, 1966. He decided to kill 20-year-old Ursula Rolling. Rolling had spent some time at an ice cream shop that day with her 27-year-old boyfriend.
I love ice cream. Okay, good.
I miss ice cream.
I know you
like
do.
actual dairy ice cream.
I know.
But her boyfriend was Adolf Schickel. They spent a good amount of time at the ice cream shop. And then Ursula left him probably to walk home.
Right.
She was cutting through a path from the ice cream shop and she walked through a park.
Never take shortcuts.
It's not safe. And if you do, take some stabby wabbies.
I was just going to say, make sure you carry stabby things.
Mm-hmm.
I carry a lot of them.
So Kroll stated, I saw this woman in the park. She was young with short hair. I spoke to her and then grabbed her around the neck with my arm.
Cool.
I dragged her into the bushes and threw her on the ground. I choked her until she stopped moving. Then I took her pants and her other things, and I did it to her.
Meaning, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Then, he continues to say, I left her lying there and took the train back to Duisburg. When I got home, I was still hot, and I had it with the doll, and did it with my hand a couple of times.
Okay.
Yes.
He can't even say the words.
No.
Is he disgusted with himself?
Probably.
Probably.
I mean,
how could you not be? Yeesh.
So, due to the account of Rolling last seen with her boyfriend, Schickel, the police arrested and questioned him, but had to let him go.
Right.
But in the town, Schickel was still believed to be guilty. So, he was chased out of town.
Good. I
I
mean,
mean, he didn't do anything, though.
But is he a bad person?
No,
I think
he
I'm
was
getting
just
confused.
a boyfriend.
Oh, he was just the boyfriend. Got it.
They were having ice cream at the shop.
I had a moment of...
I know. I talked about a lot of
Can I just
bad
blame my
people.
roots that are barely grown in? Because, I'm a natural blonde. They're in there somewhere. I can make blonde jokes about myself.
She's allowed.
Okay.
She's,
okay. Don't at me.
Anyway, so
Carry
since
on.
he was still believed to be guilty and chased out of town, on January 4th, 1967, he drowned himself in the Main River near Wiesbaden.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Like, really hard to do to yourself.
Yeah. I mean, he just went into the river.
Okay.
And never came out.
Maybe he didn't know how to swim?
He might not have been able to swim.
Okay. I mean, that would make it easy to drown yourself.
Yeah. But that sucks.
That's sad.
I mean,
that's sad.
So that was the end of his life.
Plus,
sadly.
once your body has enough oxygen deprivation, I've heard this actually scientifically, that you lose all the fear and everything. Drowning is actually one of the most humane ways to die, I guess, from what I've heard.
Good to know.
So, anyway.
Interesting.
Don't do it to yourself.
Don't do it.
And don't do it to
Just
others.
a disclaimer.
Just don't.
Let's not do those.
Okay,
things.
don't drowning. Yeah, no, don't do it.
Yeah. So after, this is only a couple months later, on December 22nd, 1966, so 3 months go by after Ursula's death, Kroll kidnapped a 5-year-old.
Oh, hell nah.
Name was Alana Hark, and she was in Essen, which Essen is in this area.
Okay.
And they hopped on a train to Wippertal, boarded a bus, and got off somewhere in a wooded area near Reimscheid. So he took the 5-year-old on a train, on a bus, and they walked into a wooded area, like a forest. He strangled and raped her, but decided he wanted to see how someone could drown, speaking of.
Oh, gosh. I didn't even know this was coming up. Yeah. Okay.
So this was his first victim. He decided to drown, which I think is his only victim he drowned. She was 5 years old. He also cut off chunks of her butt cheeks and shoulders.
When you get to the really young ones, that's when I start getting real mad.
Yeah.
Okay, carry on.
I mean, like we said, we talk about some really tough stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it's important to know
yes
about all of this and
there are bad people out there.
History.
Everywhere.
So after that happened, we fast forward to July 12th, 1969, and Kroll was taking a stroll one day.
Summer of love.
Kroll took a stroll on the banks of Baldeny Lake, which is in Duisburg, and he met a woman named Maria Hetgen, and she was 61. So
That's a
oldest victim.
he went extreme one way and then the other.
Well, I think he just kind of got ticked off because he was trying to talk to her. She didn't want to talk to him.
Oh.
And so he hit her. And they fell into the bank.
Oh boy.
Into the bushes near this lake. And he raped and strangled her, and she was found a day later. I think he just had some anger issues.
I bet she went down swinging, though. Just saying.
I hope so.
I hope they all went down swinging. Right. And claw marks. Because, I mean, when in doubt, thumbs in the eyeballs, y'all.
Yes.
It's my rule. Oh, don't mind that. Buzzing.
Sorry, guys. So, moving forward, Kroll decided to take about 10 months off of killing, and now we find ourselves in the 70s. So he started in the late 50s, and we moved to the 70s.
That's a really long
period of time.
Murder career.
Yeah, and if you look at it, several of his crimes, other people were charged with.
Yeah.
So, he decided to follow a 13-year-old girl named Jutta Ron through the woods. Not much is known about this victim except she was strangled. Jeez. And her neighbor boyfriend, Peter Shea, was arrested and spent 15 months in prison for the murder.
What the hell?
Mm-hmm. Another one.
For real, like, hit it on everybody but this guy.
I don't know how. I think it was just because of how he looked. Because he was just so small and frail. I think that they couldn't understand how he would be the one.
She has pictures.
I do have a
picture. Y'all. Pictures.
I got a picture. He's kind of...
For those that are not watching, we will share these pictures on our Instagram. So, just so you know, you can still see them. Awesome.
Yeah. Kroll said that in Dinslaken, he also strangled and raped a 10-year-old, Karen Topfer, on May 8th, 1976. But he was not charged with her murder because of lack of evidence. But one would think Kroll stating he killed her would be enough, especially after all the other victims.
If he's admitting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean.
Yep.
Charge him with it.
And this is where we get real down deep.
Oh boy.
The killing of 4-year-old Marion Ketter on July 3rd, 1976 in Kroll's apartment.
What?
Yes. In his apartment in Duisburg was the one who got him caught.
You get too comfortable, that's what's going to happen.
He messed up, guys. He decided to take it home. So, the police had been looking for the missing girl when a tenant in Kroll's apartment building complained of a blocked drain.
I know what's happening now.
Do ya?
Oh.
Yeah. So, Kroll had strangled Ketter and cut her up into pieces. Police found her intestines blocking the drain, which led them to Kroll's apartment, where Kroll was... Hold your own guts, guys. He was cooking up little Marion in his kitchen.
Ew! Oh gosh, can you imagine being the police officers who went into that one?
I mean, we have to do death calls already. That's hard enough. So
Yikes.
Having to find that's tough on on someone. It's tough on anyone. Especially those trained to do it. It's still tough.
Well, yeah, because you get,
yeah,
you don't get to, you have to see those things and actually, like, study them, basically. I mean, yeah, it's hard enough just to see it.
Gotta know the facts, and these are the facts, guys. So, the police found her hand in a pot of boiling carrots and potatoes, and a freezer was packed with other parts for Kroll to consume later. Kroll was arrested on the spot.
About time.
Yeah. It only took them almost 20 years. Because it was 1955 he started killing, and 1976 was his last murder.
Yeah, just about. Perfect.
Yep. After his arrest, the parents of another girl came forward. Her name was Gabrielle Putman. The parents came forward and reported that on June 22nd, 1967, so we're going back a little bit, in Grafenwald, Kroll lured her into a meadow and showed her nude pornographic images.
Oh boy.
But the girl was horrified, tried to run. Kroll tried to choke her. He was scared off by sirens, I guess, and thinking the girl was dead, he ran off, but she was actually still alive.
Thank goodness.
It took the parents seeing that Kroll was arrested for all these other crimes of murder
to put it together
okay. and come forward. It was like 9 years that they kept it from authorities, but I mean, thankfully the girl was alive. I guess his only survivor, besides the girlfriend of the one man.
Right, yeah.
So while in custody, he did admit to 13 murders and 1 attempted murder. He told officials that he liked slicing and eating his victims to save on grocery bills.
All of this was to save on his grocery bills. Okay, bud.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
For some reason, he believed that the system would perform a surgery on him to get rid of his homicidal urges and would miraculously heal him.
Can you please remove that part of my brain?
And then he thought he was going to be released from prison.
There's no amount of surgery or therapy that's going to fix that guy.
No.
Just saying.
Instead, he was convicted on only 9 of the charges because some people were...
But still, like, that's a significant amount of charges.
So he did 8 murders and 1 attempted. He was given 9 life sentences in the Rheinbach prison near Bonn. And get this, guys. In the late 1900s, which is what the kids are calling it these days, 1991... Kroll died in prison by heart attack.
Son of a bitch.
It was
the late 1900s. I was like, oh, that's so long ago. And then I was like, wait, no. I was born in the late 1900s.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least he's dead.
He was a sick son of a bitch.
At least he's dead.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
I mean, and I will say that he didn't get life. I mean, he didn't get the death penalty because after World War II, Germany took away death sentences.
No death sentences.
So he got the highest that he could, which was the life sentences, but I feel like he should have been tortured.
I have mixed feelings about death sentences. They're not that mixed. People like him should be put to death. I'm just saying.
With a hot poker.
Like, there's no reform for this man. And, yeah. Also, don't at me about that, because that's my choice. So, good job. That was gross.
Yeah.
Like, real gross.
It was a tough, I was going down a rabbit hole for a long time researching that.
Well, and probably getting, TMI, you know? Those little babies.
I know, and
little babies.
The victims I hate to see the most are the children and elderly, because they are a lot less likely to be able to fend for themselves, and they're more vulnerable, and I'm always a child and elderly victim advocate.
Absolutely.
100%.
I would seriously cut someone. Yes. I would cut someone.
She would.
If they hurt any of the children I know. for the elderly that I care for. Like, Mama's coming out swinging.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a mom. I'm a mom of dogs and chickens. But, like, Mama's coming out swinging. Probably with a knife. So, really, like, I will hurt you. But, yeah, that's
So,
the point. Okay.
that is the story of
Walk and Kroll.
Walk and Kroll.
All right. Find us online at www.crimecoffeeandcrafts.com. Email us your stories. We want to see what you've got going on at crimecoffeeandcrafts@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram at crimecoffeeandcraftspod. Word. Find us. Oh, and if you want more content, and eventually when we actually have advertisers, no ads, sign up on our Patreon. Help support us, please. We could really use some help.
You
obviously.
can get some good swag, too,
Yeah,
though.
we do have swag on there.
And
so.
extra episodes and cool stuff. So
yes.
hopefully we can hear from you guys.
Yes, please. Thank you.
You.
Ta-ta.
For now.